Venga il tuo regno.
Your prayers are worthless here.
As a matter of fact, that's Morris.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
What's up, Horror Fiends? It's your boy, Ricky Grimes. Welcome to episode 101 of 3 Corners of Horror. Let me introduce to you the panel tonight. First of all, Joe the Psychologist, my brother. What's good, bro?
What's good? Listen, I guess we're doing the Pope's Exorcist. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be as energetic, so I wish that whatever the Pope can do to exercise what I got in me right now, I would greatly appreciate it.
Praise up for Joe the Psychologist. Lexi the Fourth Corner, welcome back, our favorite. What's going on, Lexi?
It's been a while. I feel the same way as Joe. I hope what's going on just gets exercised as well, because I think it's been going around down here in Florida.
Yeah, keep that over there, son. Keep it over there. It's funny. Tonight's video, I saw it. Tonight's movie, rather. I watched it and I thought of Lexi immediately. I think Lexi would really enjoy this film. Lo and behold, here she is. Thanks for coming on, guys. You guys ready to dig into this one?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Let's go. We will be discussing tonight the 2023 film The Pope's Exorcist, directed by Julius Avery. The film stars Russell Crowe as Father Gabriel Armand, Daniel Zavado as Father Escobel, and Alexandra Esoe as Julia. The Pope's Exorcist. Joe, we're doing another exorcism film, son. What's up?
I know. We got another one coming up too. So.
Oh, The Believer. You gonna watch it?
I hate to admit, I'm gonna wait for it to drop on streaming.
Wow, really? Even like a big Exorcist fan.
I love it. I just don't feel it's like as much. I mean, that's like my number one movie, and I don't. I'm gonna be very mad to pay a lot of money to sit through and watch something.
I agree.
That is gonna give me, Halloween Ends or whatever that shit at the we watched feels to it. So
do you say that because the director is attached to it?
Yeah.
What's it, David Gordon Green?
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'll wait for it to drop.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
I agree.
I feel you on that. But we ain't talking about The Exorcist tonight. Hell no. We are talking about The Pope's Exorcist. Lexi the Fourth Corner. I'm gonna throw it to you first because you are our guest. Now, I like I said, I thought of you, so I'm curious. What were your initial thoughts when you watched this one? It's on Netflix, by the way. If you haven't seen it, watch it first. Come back.
So like you said, you brought it to my attention. I completely forgot because it dropped back in January of this year, and I was like gonna wait until it hit streaming, and then you came to me and you're like, "Oh my God, did you see it? It's on Netflix." I was like, "Oh yeah, I've been wanting." I completely forgot about it until you brought it to my attention, and then you kept saying how good it was, and I was like, "Rick, of all people, saying it's good? Oh God, it's got to be good." First thoughts: I watched it once the day that you told me that it was on Netflix, and I loved it. And then I watched it again today, like a few hours ago, and I just love it even more. Russell Crowe. Not his typical movie. I know he was in a different horror movie before, but I believe this is the second one I've seen him in. And I love the humor that he brings to his character. But I loved how serious he can get too. He was phenomenal. There was a lot of, and maybe this is just me just looking into it, but there was a lot of little Easter eggs that I noticed, like the Exorcist, I felt was, with the way he wore the hat in the beginning of the movie, when he's riding on the scooter. I thought of Emily Rose because of the first exorcism that we saw when the movie presented. I thought of Emily Rose because of the words that were said. I also thought of Carrie because of one of the sins, and we'll dive more deep into that. One of the sins with Adela, I believe, was one of the sins. We'll again talk about that. And I also thought of a recent movie I just watched, As Above, So Below, because they were talking about going into the catacombs of underneath that
What
castle.
a
So I
claustrophobic
was like,
nightmare that movie is.
oh my God, yes. I legit had a panic attack, and yeah, I had to pause. But yeah, overall, I honestly really, really, really loved this movie. It's up there.
Yeah. You mentioned the scooters. I laughed so hard when I saw that. That's called the Lambretta, I believe it's called, because that's
Mhm.
an attention to detail because Russell Crowe actually did some research on this, and the scooters, the priest actually rode around in
Yeah,
those
yeah.
scooters all the time. Look at Joe. Joe
Right.
knows. What am I
I
talking
looked it up.
about?
I looked it up too
I
to
forgot
find
who
out
I'm
because it
talking
was
to
based
here.
on a
Yeah,
true
yeah.
story.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What up, Joe? So now what's your thoughts, man? We haven't talked about this once at all.
Nope.
So what's
Nope.
good, son? What's good?
I mean, listen. For me, it was. I liked Russell Crowe. You know, I like seeing a priest swear. I don't know what it is about actually having a priest just every once in a while throw in a little swear word. It makes them a little more humanized. Um, I did like his performance. I'm not gonna lie, and I paused it for a second, and I texted Rick and said, "Dude, I'm sitting here like waiting to see the Pope possessed,
Oh
so he
yeah,
can come exorcise the Pope." And then they explain that he's the Pope's exorcist. I'm like, totally read that wrong.
yeah. He was
I'm literally waiting. I'm like, because when they showed the Pope, I'm like, here we go. The Pope's gonna like do something, and then he
yeah.
sends them on a mission.
He
And I'm
was the
like,
Vatican's leading exorcist. Yeah,
yes, I got that after.
yeah.
So when you're watching the movie and you're waiting to see a possessed Pope, you're
I
like,
know. I
like there
understand.
was a little bit of a letdown because I didn't read anything on it. I wanted to go in blind on it, but just based on my interpretation of the title, I was wrong. But it was an entertaining movie. I did like the exorcisms parts in it. You know, there's one part that threw me out. I'll wait to say it in the end to see if you guys noticed it. But overall, I didn't hate the movie. It's entertaining. Was it overall scary? I mean, it wasn't like Exorcist scary for me.
No, no.
You know, it felt more, you know, in which I'll just, you know, probably we'll talk in the end, but it just felt more like you're just watching that like the church has like a, you know, covert group of exorcists, basically, like what it was leading to. So, you know, but I was entertained. I'm not gonna say I hated the movie. I was totally entertained. Because I wanted to see scary stuff. You know, that's only like one of my few critiques in the movie, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. It doesn't break any new ground. It's if you watch one Exorcist type film, you watch this one, there's nothing really new in it. You mentioned entertaining, and that's my I love that you said that because that's what I found out of this. Russell Crowe was so like charismatic and also full of so much trauma. He carried a big burden on him,
Yeah.
and I loved his character so much because of it. And that's why I really enjoyed it. If it was any other guy in this role, just being straight laced, you know, a priest, probably wouldn't as have enjoyed it as much. But because Russell Crowe brought so much like power to this performance and his humor, his mannerisms, it's very the way he spoke. By the way, Daniel Zavala, I saw this entire movie not
You did,
knowing that was was it in makeup or something?
no, I mean,
Did
but
he?
Wasn't he in Renfield?
No, no.
no, It
No.
Follows.
He was there. He's in a lot of those
Oh,
earlier
It
films.
Follows. That's
Yeah,
right.
he's in
I
It
saw him. I
Follows.
saw this movie called Beneath not too long ago, like last week. He was in it. It's about a killer fish in a lake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's been. I was
I
waiting
was
to see
like,
if anybody was gonna recognize that
no, I did
priest.
not. I did not recognize him. Like after I saw that, I go back. That's when I go to IMDb to see who's in the movie because I forgot somebody. Yeah, I totally missed him. I did not. You know me. I'm good with faces when it comes to actors. Definitely did not recognize him. But
Yeah, no.
yeah, but I think between him, I love the play with him and Russell Crowe's character Gabriel Armand. I love their chemistry together. So I definitely look forward to hearing more out of you. But what I'm gonna ask you now, I mean, between you and Joe are big Exorcist fans, not just of the film, but the genre itself, where with the church and demons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How did this film differ to you, to prior
Um,
exorcism films?
So this is right up my alley. My corner, because we're, the three corners horror with me plus one. Fourth corner, my corner is possessional exorcism type of movies. And so this was right up my alley when you brought this to my attention. What it differed from, honestly, we see, The Exorcist is the OG, the original. That's by far the best one and always will be the best one. But how it differs from all of the exorcisms out there for me was the chemistry between Tomas and Gabriel. I loved that we had a professional Pope's exorcism and then the rookie. And so I loved that he was basically training him throughout the whole movie, like, do this, do that.
Wrong priest.
Yes, you brought me the wrong fucking priest. Yes. Yeah, their chemistry together is what carried this movie. As far as entertainment and the possessions, yeah, they were a little on the weak of the scary side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, that's what carried them. Now, I also love that they brought a folklore to it, and that's what also stood out the most for me, is because there was a story behind the exorcism. And so when in the beginning of the movie, Father Gabriel, he had his way of what did he say, psychology, or like reverse psychology, basically. He saw that people were just mentally ill, and then he you brought up his trauma with what was her name, Rosaria.
Yeah, that's the girl he was trying to save,
Right.
but he didn't take it serious, right? He was like,
right. Whether she was, I think for her case, if I remember correctly, that she was more on the mentally ill. She wasn't really actually possessed. That's what I got out of it. Maybe I'm wrong, but then we meet Henry, who's possessed by what was the demon's name? Sorry.
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus, the king of hell. So as the background behind me, he sees that, and that's where he starts to realize, okay, this could potentially be a real thing and not a mentally ill case. So I liked his way of bringing his expertise to the table. Now, who I also kind of liked but also hated at the same time, which was Cardinal Sullivan, which was how they were all sitting at the table and judging him, and I really hated that guy, but I liked his character because he was basically scared of Father Gabriel.
You mentioned the folklore. So the story behind it was, there was once this powerful priest who became possessed by Asmodeus, and he got into the church and took it over, essentially. And what happened was the church he was too powerful, so they knew they couldn't stop him, so they kind of like walled him in.
They sealed him.
They sealed him in there.
Yes.
And that led to the Spanish Inquisition, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And the church covered it up to so like that they can keep they don't want that fucking that bad press, as it would be known as now. And it would discredit the church, essentially.
Yeah.
Is that what was going on? That kind of got that right a little bit?
Yes, but it was back in 1475, I believe, when that was happening.
A long time ago.
So what did Sullivan know? What did Sullivan know? Because he seemed like he knew something.
And
although
this was 87, this was an 80s like era film. It didn't feel like 80s at all to me.
No.
87.
Right. Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, the first Pope's Exorcist, so to speak, was back in 1475, and that's when the Spanish Inquisition happened.
Yep.
But Sullivan seemed like he knew, because near the end of the movie, the Pope said, "Oh, he went off to Guam to for sabbatical," and he's like, "I'll pray for Guam." Oh, I loved it.
Joe, did you know the actor who played the Pope in this movie was Frank Nero? We're
I
talking
saw
about
the name. Yeah.
that's the original Django from Django Unchained. The
Yeah.
original. I was like, what the fuck? What's going on with these priests? First of all, we had in Renfield fucking like what the guy from fucking Friday Night, Vernon Ragsdale played the priest in that film. I didn't recognize him. Now Frank Nero played the Pope in this one. What's going on
I
here
mean,
with the
they're a lot older now. They're a little harder to recognize.
So Joe, let me ask you the same question. So again, you're more like educated on this subject than I am. How did this, how did you compare this to other films in the genre?
Well, the couple things I had, one scene that I liked was when it was the double possession and both the brother and sister were speaking in sync.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty cool. I was trying to remember the last time I saw in a movie where they spoke of, where the possessor is able to take over more than one body.
Yeah.
And then when they're all literally fighting, the mother or the sister, the daughter is fighting the mother. You got two separate possessions, two different rooms. So I thought it was pretty cool because it showed just how powerful the demon was. It didn't keep it all into the one room.
Yeah.
Showing that basically, because a lot of times when you see in the movies, that these priests are sent there to discredit the possessions. But seeing that the Pope is actually instead of being ahead of the discrediting it all, he sits there and wants exorcisms to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like he believes in them. So it was good to see that he had the higher up backing him as opposed to the higher up opposing him.
I love real quick. I love when you mention that because there's a scene where Gabriel mentions how he was complaining about how younger priests don't believe in the existence of the real devil.
Right.
And that hit hard for me for some reason. Like, damn, I never thought about it that way. That's true. Like, because back then it's not like what it is now. So the people growing up in this generation, this newer generation of priests I'm talking, they're probably not taught the way they were.
Not back then.
No,
they're not going to follow the things.
No, and I love that little detail that was thrown in. That gives a lot of credibility.
And Sullivan was the non-believer, and he was the youngest one on that panel.
But until when the demon came out and he saw the blood, he realized that evil does exist, or that the Satan does exist.
I thought you were gonna say evil dies tonight.
No, I was trying. I stopped myself from finishing. I'm like, oh, don't keep going with that sentence. But which I know we're going to talk about next. The other part that I had liked was that it showed that it was a huge group. Like they have a agency, I guess, if you want to call it, an exorcist agency. And then not just that, but it you get this revelation of a map that shows you all these other points, the points of evil. Or gates, basically, is the way that I was looking at it, where they had put them in there, but now there's chances it's coming out. So it leaves it open, and it's already been announced there's going to be a sequel to it.
Dude,
so
I want to see just with our two heroes, man. I want to see them on another adventure. I love them together, bro.
But I mean, and that's about as much as I saw as a difference, which it because it didn't follow all the regular tropes of the other Exorcist movies. That's kind of where it stood out.
Right.
It was like an action, more like a action exorcism type of movie.
So this film, you mentioned it's not high on scares. It's more action oriented. That's not gonna offer a lot of anything new as far as the horror. But what I liked about it, it's a nice tale about our demons will always come back to haunt us essentially, because we got Father Gabriel. He was in war. He saw a lot of his brothers just being massacred right in front of him. He was one of the only few survivors. He had all that on his head. Then again, when he becomes the priest, he doesn't take that girl serious. He thought he could help her more. She committed suicide right in front of him. He always blamed himself for that. Even when he confessed to God, it wasn't enough. He had to reassure himself later on into the film and actually speak it out and what he did. And I think that was, to me, that's the underlying theme of this film, like trauma, guilt, just keeping all that inside and your personal demons, But Lexi mentioned the lore in this film. Let's dig a little bit deeper into this one because I kind of like it where this was going. So you want to let's go let's traverse back into this section. The lore, Lexi. What you mentioned a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of things you picked up. Now's your time to shine. Let's go.
Yeah, as far as the Easter eggs, it reminded me of other exorcism movies. Again, the OG, The Exorcist, when he drove in on the scooter with this same almost look of the priest in the original.
You mentioned
with
that
the
scene
hat and-
when he walks in with the hat and he's got the briefcase, that one
Yes.
shot with everything lit behind him. That
Mhm.
was
That's-
straight out of The Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was like, I know
And-
Joe's gonna point that one out.
But the relationship between Father Gabriel and Father Tomas, they remind me also the Exorcist series. If you've ever seen it, it's on Hulu, I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah, it was a good
It
series.
reminded me, of the relationship between, I believe, Father Tomas is that's his name in that show too, and I forget the main priest's name in that show, but that main priest is kind of rogue, like Father Gabriel is. He's kind of rogue. He does his own ways. He doesn't follow by the book,
He's
essentially.
rogue. I like that.
Now with as the folklore starts to peel its layers throughout the movie, we run into their sins, and like you said, it brings out their guilt, their and what did they say throughout the whole movie? The sins will seek you out. So you can see that their sins are plain, before our eyes with Adalia, which was Father Tomas's sin. He I don't remember exactly
he
what
fell
their
in love.
sin was.
He fell in. I think
He fell in love before
he fell in love with a woman, but I can't remember if it was while he was becoming a priest or that the woman was married.
Right. I can't remember either. I think it was more becoming a priest, and he
He fell in
chose
love
priest
with-
over love.
He fell in love with the girl, but then he chose to become a priest over
Ah.
continuing the relationship with the woman.
Right. But she came out in all blood, and it reminded me of Carrie. And the way she even holds his throat in the end of the movie, you know what I mean? Like she
Your
picks
arms
him
are
up
I
by
did.
the
I
throat.
did. You lost your arm there.
Yeah, I did. I know.
Oh.
Lost my, but she picks him up by the throat and lifts him like Carrie does in similarly in when she's lighting the whole high school on fire.
When I first popped this movie in and I saw it was a mother and the two kids, I'm like, oh no, no. But Russell Crowe's character was so strong to me that the mother and the children was kind of downplayed as the movie went along. I mean, the movie ended and they barely talked about what happened to them. They just moved around. They're living happily ever after.
The church paid her off for the place.
Yeah.
And here,
Mhm.
just go on your way and keep.
I
Your
was
mouth
wondering
shut.
that too because what's it, Abby, right?
It was an Abbey.
So
that
what
her-
yeah,
her husband, her family had owned it, and when he died, it passed down to her.
So I'm wondering why the hell did they move in there with just 3 of them, but they're gonna sell it. So
Yes, the plan was to remodel it and
Yeah.
sell it.
It makes me wonder, why did the husband own it? Like, why did their family own it? That's
Right, it
a
could be
little-
something part of the family was helping keep the secret.
That's right. So their father passed away because he was in a car accident.
Yep.
Right. And
Horrible.
Henry, the child, was in the car with him at the time. He survives, but surviving that and witnessing your father passing away in front of you, that's trauma. And again,
Trauma, yeah.
that's part of the key storylines in this film. One of the key themes is trauma. And Henry hasn't spoken a word since his father died. What, 10 years? No, was it a year? A year. I think it was 1 year.
Yeah.
It was 1 year.
1 year. So Joe the psychologist. My man,
Mhm.
how you feeling, bro?
I'm all right. I need a sip of soda though.
Yeah. Soda. Oh my god, I gotta drink some water, bro.
I have water too. I like
Ginger, I
Coke.
hope that's ginger ale, bro.
That Coke.
You know what? Beer is actually better for you now than fucking giant Coke.
Oh, I know. I really only have
Whiskey.
I have like 2 a day, if anything.
Like Father Gabriel, get that whiskey.
All
I
right,
wish
Joe.
with a little bit of honey, that would definitely help.
Yeah. Oh, honey and tea, brother.
Oh yeah,
So-
no, but it's better with whiskey.
Oh yeah, of course. So Joe the psychologist, chat me up, brother. Anything else you got to add to this whole lore discussion? Because one thing I forgot to bring up, the ending of this film was pretty bonkers, man. How did the lore and the way the movie ended, did it satisfy you?
It did. I mean, because it leaves it open.
Yeah.
I mean, my only thing is hopefully they're gonna find creative ways because generally when they do an exorcism, they need to find out what's possessed them. And when they went into the catacombs, they found the name. I mean, so in each movie, are they going to try to find the location and dig through the location
because
to find the name?
when you discover the demon's name, it loses power.
Yes.
Essentially.
So I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully they're not. If they're going to try to do like another 2-3 of them, it's not that the whole goal is okay. We got to find where they hid the name, so that way we can get the power.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree.
But I will say when he was taking him what was it? Not the Pope, the guy that took Reynolds. Is that his name? What's the asshole? Sullivan.
Sullivan.
The one that took Sullivan's job as he's giving him a tour. I'm not gonna lie, I did get a little Men in Black feel to it.
Yeah, oh shit. I did not think about that, but now that you say it,
because there are 2 points in this movie where I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well,
I
did it. I said it before. It's not the most original film.
It's not. However, I got something for the end, like I said. But when I saw that, I go, "Oh my god!" So it's the Men in Robes instead of the Men in Black.
Joe,
it's the Men in Robes.
Joe,
they literally.
No, I'm gonna cut that out because we're stealing that. I don't want no one taking it. Men in Robes. We're gonna write that movie.
But I mean, it was I mean, I didn't hate.
Wait a minute, hold on. That's Men in Robes. That's so fucking good. How did we not have a Men in Black film? But instead of Men in Black, they're fucking priests going around exorcising fucking demons. They're Men in Robes.
Men in Robes, and that's what it
sounds like. You guys are writing a movie.
It's essentially what you're not. You said you're not putting this part in the video.
No, I'm putting it in, brother.
Oh, all right.
Oh wait,
the Men in Robes part.
Damn, should I? I don't know what taking it. Fuck it, let's do it.
Well, if you use that, we got proof that I said
copyright.
We said it here first.
If it was said on film and it's in the ether,
it happened.
It's copyrighted, son.
Yep. So I said it first. I'll come for you.
Men in Robes.
But that's what the feel I got to it, and so like I said, because the movie itself was entertaining. As you guys said, the dynamic between the 2 priests, it's something that, I'll watch the sequel so long as they're going to have an inventive way of discovering what the name, because obviously they're going to be traveling the world to all the spots they're going to be in.
Have you read any of the books?
I have not.
Because this is based on so the actual priest is still alive too. Father Gabriel Mort, he's still around.
He retired is all he did.
Yeah. So there's actually oh my god, the director of The Exorcist who recently passed away William Friedkin. He was actually involved in coming up with some kind of screenplay for the continued adventures of Father Amort. So
really?
That was the last thing he did before he passed away, unfortunately.
That would have been cool. See, that would have been a good
so there's a lot more story to tell with this character. So hopefully, like you said, they freshen it up. They don't want to retread the same territory.
Right. I mean, that's just like, basically, because at this point, it's not so much that they're going to be going to exorcise people. They're going to be going to the locations where the evil has gotten stronger to basically find how to exorcise the evil out of there.
There it goes again. I keep thinking of Evil Dies Tonight whenever you say evil, man. God, dog. Fuck you, David Gordon Green.
Yep, and he's in the next Exorcist. So we keep mentioning that. But I mean, like I said, it's where the movie, the lore that it ended, that there's this big conspiracy that the church, again, the church is hiding, involving locations where they imprisoned, demons. It's a cool thing. It opens up for the other ones. I didn't hate the ending. I wish maybe they would have taken them into like some really big, beautiful church and not look, like I said, like the, war room in Men in Black.
So for me, my score would definitely be a 4 out of 5. And again, this is right up my alley of, possessional exorcism type of films. And it stood out because of the folklore. Now we have so many movies out right now with, more than one, sequel to it, like The Conjuring or Insidious and all these other, they're not really possessional movies, but there's more than one sequel. So I would love to see where this takes it. And I think Joe said, they already have announced the second one coming out, I believe, next year.
Yep.
So I'm excited where this is going to take it, because we need, I'm invested. I'm excited to see where Father Amorth and Father Gabriel, or I'm sorry.
I keep thinking Walking Dead when you say.
Oh my God. Yeah. I hate that one. That's the one priest I hate.
Oh, I love. Oh, you haven't finished it yet. You haven't finished it.
Yeah, you gotta finish it.
She's still in dickhead Gabriel mode.
Yeah.
Joe the psychologist, you know what to do, son. Hit me up, brother. This one's for you, brother. This one's for you. Hold on, this one's for you. Joe.
Please take
this is my boy Joe. This is for you.
Yeah, because I'm not doing any of that to finish it off. But yeah, but all right. So I'll give my rating first. It's a 3.5. I mean, and that's not a bad score. But again, because the exorcism parts weren't really scary. The Men in Black part kind of was, a little like, oh man, I didn't like that. But the moment that I was really thrown off the whole movie, and it was the second time I paused the movie to text Rick and said, did he just Shang Tsung him? When he goes, your soul is mine. I'm like, that's from Mortal Kombat. Exactly how it sounds in Mortal Kombat. There was no change in the sound of that. Right. Like whoever did the editing took like, oh, we're just gonna use Mortal Kombat for it. When he did that, and I texted Rick, I'm like, your soul is mine. Is it just Mortal Kombat? Really? I'm like, man, it's mine. And it was like, it's a good scene. You're doing that, and then
it takes you right out of it.
I just couldn't stop. I'm like, I swear to God, if he makes another Shang Tsung quote in here, like, but that was literally. I know it sounds stupid, but when you're expecting more, and as I said, once I reevaluated what the movie was about, once I reevaluated what the movie was really about, and it wasn't that the Pope needed to be have an exorcism. And then get into what the movie was really about. So it didn't start off all that well, but your soul is mine. I'm like, oh.
What I really enjoyed in this film, I love the cold open, man. I don't like animals being harmed in film. You guys know that by now. But when he killed the pig with a shotgun, and he had someone else do it for him. But to prove to prove that this guy is not possessed, he's just mentally ill, and I'm gonna cure him by making him believe he transferred the demon into the pig. That was an awesome scene. I don't want to finish the video without bringing that up. I know Lexi had mentioned it earlier, reminded me, and I'm like, damn, that scene was fucking cool, man. So
it was.
Yeah,
what did Amorth say? He said a little theatricals.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it was. And I was like, wait a minute, is this guy for real? But then he explained why okay, now it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think Joe said it best. It's an entertaining film. It's not it don't break new ground. Like when Henry's possessed, again, you're not scared. You don't feel for the kid. You've seen it so many times before. But I like the interplay between the two main characters, the two priests. And the family was pretty insignificant by the end of the film. Let's be real; they were just used as a tool to move Father Gabriel Amorth, his story along in the process. And they were kind of one-dimensional. And the girl annoyed the hell out of me to begin with. I was like, oh no, come on!
Trying too hard.
Yes, it's always. Why do movies do this? They have a family of a mother, daughter, and a son, and the teenager is always the girl. She's always the rebellious one that's obnoxious, and by the end of the film, she becomes a hero essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, guys, can we just not do that trope anymore? Like, all teenagers are not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, that's just a low hanging fruit to me. I don't know, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it. My score was originally a 3.5 as well. Again, it's not a bad score. I enjoyed this movie. I recommend this movie. I just will say. It's not a terrifying film. It doesn't break new ground, but it's very entertaining because the characters, the way they play off of each other, And then, and when Henry was possessed, he had some cool effects. His eyes, if you see
Mhm.
behind Lexi.
Yeah, that was I did like
Oh,
that.
creepy,
When
very
you
well
had the two
done.
different eyes, yeah.
He spits up the little baby bird. That was like, ooh, little.
Yeah, that was gross.
Fucking nice.
And I think that was a shout out to Rosaria, his fear or his sin.
Oh yes, that's when they started bringing it up. And I did like this though. When Lexi, you mentioned this earlier. When the demon Asmodeus, that's he's taking over Henry, obviously. Father Gabriel goes in there nonchalant, thinking, nah, this is nothing. But when he starts to realize, and it's very subtle, holy shit, this is the real deal. And just the look on his face, his body language changes, and he's like more like tense now. And he goes out of the room and he's talking to the other guy. I love that because it's subtle. He don't got to tell you, but you can see the way his whole demeanor changes.
Yeah,
And that's when
he realized that this is not going to be a psychological.
This was the exact moment he realized. Oh,
yes, the eye. Yeah, that was well done. That's because he did the same twist on the other guy in the beginning, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I
Yes, he
will
did.
say I was entertained throughout the whole movie. So definitely check it out if you're into these type of films. If you're not, watch it anyway. It's not an overly long movie. It does not overstay its welcome. It gets a little hokey near the end. It depends on how you take it. Essentially, I was a little bit more. Joe enjoyed it more. He explained it better to me, so I understand why they went that route. But it's watch this film. It's not gonna it ain't breaking new ground. It's not gonna blow you away, but you will be entertained. I guarantee it. I guarantee that. That's gonna do it for another episode of 3 Corners of Horror. Thank you for your continued support. We really do appreciate that. We also want to thank the 4th Corner, Lexi, for coming on the show tonight, kicking ass and taking names as usual. Oh, you're always welcome here. Don't worry about that. And of course, Joe the psychologist, my brother. I know you're not feeling well. Thank you.
I'll be back.
Thank you.
I'll be back better next week.
I know you're good, bro. I just I appreciate you coming on and just
of course
doing your thing, brother. With that being said, be good, be healthy, drink beer, but most of all, stay scared.